part of SharmaFX, but all worth it.
100%.
This thing is the best. And I'm guessing you like yours a lot more now that it's
A lot more normal.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like crack.
Yep. Can you guys hear my fan in the background, or is it good?
I can't hear anything.
Okay, perfect. I just turned on the fan.
Okay.
What's up, guys?
How many we got on YouTube?
Alright.
Sherman, do you want to lead the breakdown?
Yeah.
It's you 30, or it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
I don't think it matters, but really quickly, just like a quick introduction, we are going to be, just today, what we're going to do is trade the week of the last massive interest rate hike, which was back in June. And that's because that's pretty much what we're expecting, something similar going into the markets, going into next week as well, where we are expecting massive interest rate hikes, so an aggressive approach. And so I pretty much want you guys to understand that you're going to see the same setups, presenting themselves to the coming week and how to take advantage of them. So that's what we're going to go over. Let's start off with the higher time frames, and yeah, Steph, go for it if you want to do the just the basic levels and stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so over here, obviously, we had the all-time highs reached after COVID ended up happening. We had that massive tank. Price basically rebounded double what the Dow was worth at the time. So we ended up reaching around that 37,000 mark, and we've been bearish ever since. We got that initial bearish candle close, engulfing close, passing the low of the previous candle. Next candle created a lower high, top wick, passed the low of the previous candle as well, ended up closing somewhere around here. Then we get that bullish candle holding some kind of a support somewhere in here. Now we are in the higher time frame, so I'm sure I'm going to be adjusting that in the lower time frames. But we ended up forming holding previous support over here to the left, but then this candle ended up closing right below that support, and we've been respecting it ever since. We get that doji candle passing the low of the previous candle, but we ended up snapping back from a certain area over here. We had a previous support somewhere in this area, and then you had up here some kind of a rejection point where you have our wick right here, and then you get that resistance right over there to the left. So is this candle well on its way from flipping bearish to now filling this wick down here?
Absolutely. And a couple of things that I would want to kind of point out here is when we reach these all-time high levels on the top, where we start to see these consolidation and all of that forming, that's pretty much, leading into all of this was the anticipation of still keeping those low interest rates. And then in the beginning of the year, we started talking about, interest rate hikes and what's the approach that we're pretty much going to end up seeing. And a lot of that came from the data, right? And so when we started breaking out of this consolidation, that came from the Fed actually increasing their interest rates. A lot of these wick rejections, it's all discussion that happened. Finally, when the candles started coming back down and closing below these areas, that's when the Fed actually started increasing their interest rates around this time. Now the anticipation this is a monthly time frame, right? Yeah, so for June.
This is the monthly, yes.
So for June, the expectation was that we're going to see a much aggressive interest rate hike, and that there's going to be an aggressive approach. And the Fed also said that now what they were trying to do was shift their focus from just increasing interest rates to now also thinking about what is the monetary policy going to look like. And so that's really when they started adjusting their monetary policies, and they started being aggressive, with their balance sheets and everything like that. So with all of that combined, plus the market sentiment, that's pretty much what happened in this monthly candle as we're pushing down.
Absolutely. All right, so are we all clear on the monthly? Actually, I'll just mark off our all-time highs up here. Alright, now down to the weekly. Now we can start adjusting again. We got that resistance up here. Obviously, we've been forming these lower highs. We just formed another lower high right over here, which we can now actually just move this. If it'll let me slow that. right over here. You got that previous support, right, which ended up holding support, and then we just kept ranging in between this area, just because you had these. Let me get these tools over here. You had price rejecting this area right over here with that bullish candle flip. We tapped into that previous support over here, so that confirmed the support being held right over here and price keeping on rejecting that area. But we also did right there, and then we did right here as well, right? So we finally broke below it right over here, continuing all the way back down to this support that we marked off, retraced, came all the way back up, formed that resistance, created a top wick for this current week, and now we are passing the low of the previous candle, continuing down. Actually, no, this is the market hasn't even opened yet. Let me just press play for a second and see how the market opens. Actually, I'm not going to do that in the weekly because I don't want it to jump too far. But anyway, this candle is extremely bearish, and it looks like the next one, actually, you can see price right here. That's the current price line. So it looks like price like gapped down a little bit. Again, can we hold the support over here and possibly retrace back up to then continue down? Or are we just going to continue down and fill that wick right there? Clear that out. Alright, daily. Now, it starts to get a little choppy here on some of the like daily, 4 hour, I'm sure. But what you do is you just look at your most recent support and resistance, and that'll clear out a lot of the confusion that you may have. So again, we were holding resistance over here after coming back up to retest this area. We then come down to end up rejecting this area and continuing back up to retest the high. We come right back down to the same exact area, and then we come back up to that resistance, and then we continue down. But we kept rejecting this area right here, which also lines up to the left a little bit. You can draw that thick if you want, but like you don't really need to do that. But the important thing is what you have here is a clean move to the left that we perfectly mirrored. Created that lower high on this candle, passed the low of the previous right here, and we had some volume, I guess, right over here, and prices pushed down these days, past 2 days over here. So again, clean move to the left. Can we continue down here? Looks like price is opening right there. Are we going to continue back down or hold some kind of a support here?
Absolutely. So as you can notice, we're pretty much in a heavy seller's pressure while maintaining in a bearish trend. So you kind of want to think about where you are in terms of structure and what kind of steps would really make sense here.
Yes. Absolutely. So daily, looking at the 4 hour now. 4 hour, we can adjust this just a little bit. We get that support right here. Price just kept bouncing in between this area up here, and then finally broke with this candle, and now we're continuing all the way down. And if we just line up where price is now, because it looks like you got a strong bearish candle, but this candle created that top wick and a bottom wick passing the low. Are we going to be holding like this? Is this oh, actually the price is right down here. So we have a wick here to the left that price could possibly react to, and then below that area you got a clean move to the left to continue down. But you have this whole area right here, the support that price could be rejecting right now. I'm actually going to mark that off. You see that support, you get that wick coming into that area as well. Again, previous support being respected, but right below that you have that wick. Might not matter actually if we can close below this area, but depends on the price action over here. You just clone these. Be on our way.
What I would also do is now start narrowing in to kind of figure out what's the no trade range. So here on the 4 hour time frame, for example, we have all this resistance area as well.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. So you got all this level right here. So I would say anything in between, given all this consolidation that's forming, and even the fact that price grabbed that liquidity from here and then a massive push up, that tells you that anything in between, you are going to see volatility. So I would consider this more like my no trade range.
Absolutely. Great point. Alright, so 1 hour. Why is that not working? I swear there's an issue every time. That's alright, it happens. 1 second. 15 minute. 30-minute. All right, there you go. So we'll just scale this real quick. And then now what you see is you do have that area right there too. And I guess we should mark off this resistance as well. But again, that's a strong area that Sharma was just marking off. Then you have that. So safe buys are going to be above this resistance right here if we hold this support. But right now, what you see is the extreme bearish price action here. Is price just going to continue down? Are we just getting a pullback to then continue down, or again, are we just kind of consolidating here?
So here, as price is consolidating, as you're dropping down to lower time frame stuff, but pretty much as price is consolidating here, that's another way for the market to pretty much grab orders, right? So it's either going to be retracements or consolidation. And so right now, it's pretty much heavy sellers pressure, market pricing in the expected interest rate hikes that we're about to see in a couple of days. And a lot of this is just market sentiment. So that's why you're seeing a lot of consolidation here as well.
Yes, absolutely. You also have this support right over here. So was this kind of like a fake out, or is price like retesting this area? I just want to see to the left over here if that could be readjusted. No, I mean price is bouncing from this level anyway. So again, like I wouldn't be trading in anything in here either, or probably even over here, unless we get like a perfect break and retest in here. But then again, do we have enough range in here? Do you even want to touch this? I mean, yeah. You could. Let's see what we end up getting. It really depends on the price action. Alright. So we'll play this out. This is going to be Sunday. Yeah, this is Sunday open, I believe. Right, Charles?
Sessions, right? Let's see.
If you go to sessions.
Yeah. It's the Asian on Sunday. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So you want to fast forward to Monday?
No, we could still do Asian session. Just starting from there, we're just gonna only do the Tokyo Stock Exchange when that opens up, which I think is about in an hour.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. So let's do it in about an hour, just Asian session, because usually around interest rates or even NFP week, you start getting good setups in the beginning of the week already.
Okay. So you're saying fast forward an hour?
Yeah, just an hour.
Okay.
Alright, there you go. So this is a Tokyo Stock Exchange. This is usually when you're also going to see some volume. Even if it's US 30, you tend to see a little bit of volume here. But if you don't see it in the first hour, then you're pretty much done trading for the Asian session.
That's a good point.
So I would hop up to the 4-hour time frame and the daily time frame again. So we had a gap down that happened. And so now essentially, if we can clear below this area, is that a potential trade? I think so, like nice sell opportunities. But if we kind of fail to close below this and continue pushing down, then I would just stay out of the trade.
Yeah, and you see the daily right over here.
Yep.
So that's a critical zone right there. What's with these charts? The hour and the 30-minute are just acting up. The 15-minute. One thing I like to do is I like to keep them all out there for you. Just switch these. Now what you have is the 4-hour in the bottom left corner. You have the 1-hour in the top left corner. 30-minute top right, and then 15-minute bottom right.
Perfect. Alright, after the first hour stuff, we can just kind of skip to New York session.
Are you just saying skip to the New York?
Yeah, after what we can do is skip on the 15-minute and see if price really ends up breaking below the zone that you're marking off. There you go. If price ends up actually breaking below this, I would want to see a candle close. I don't think just a breakthrough would be sufficient for me to take a trade.
Mm.
just looking at higher time frames.
Yeah, I mean, you know US 30 better than I do, but I mean, you guys got to be more careful taking trades on Sunday nights. Like,
Yeah.
you definitely get setups, right? I would say maybe twice or three times a week. You may get on a heavy week when it comes to the economic calendar, but you want to take it easy taking trades on Sunday. Like,
Yeah.
really wait for candles to close. Really just stay patient and wait for your setups to appear. But if you don't get them, just don't trade.
Yeah, without a candle close, there's essentially no trade opportunity.
Yes.
Also, like, I know, like, a lot of people, they tend to trade on Sundays. I personally don't trade on Sundays, and sometimes I won't even trade on Mondays either. Usually, most of the time, I'm trading between, like, Tuesday to maybe even Friday. But, if you're somebody who's trading on a Sunday, then use lower risk, right? It's just the beginning of the week. It's probably going to be your first trade. The market's trying to price in a lot of stuff that has happened over the weekend, a lot of fundamentals, and also market sentiment setting up for, what's about to come, the next economic data that's about to come. So you want to be very, very patient in the markets around that time.
Yep. So let's speed it up just a little bit. Anybody have any questions? YouTube?
Nothing yet.
Okay. Does this look good on YouTube? Like, you can clearly see the price, or is it better if I zoom in?
I think this is good. You're able to see the prices.
Okay.
So we're starting to consolidate out here on the 15-minute. Right down here, we're just starting to consolidate out. We're not really breaking the highs or lows or anything like that. You check the 30-minute time frame up top here. Pretty much the same thing. We're not really moving anywhere. We're just coming back and testing some of these lows. You hop up to the 1 hour time frame. Same exact thing, very low volume ever since the market started opening up. So essentially by this point, and I'll give it another 30 minutes or so, but after the first hour of Tokyo and Sydney overlap, I'm pretty much done trading, and I would move on to New York session. So see how, like, the next 15-minute as well, the way that it closed, it just tested previous highs and lows, right? It didn't continue down, it didn't break the lows or anything like that. That's what the current 15-minute is doing.
Mm-hmm. Just playing around.
I think you can skip through now stuff if you want to get to
Okay.
New York. Yeah.
So we're doing over here. Coming down a little bit. Getting into London. Alright, so this is 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just had a nice move coming all the way down over here. Let's see. Alright, so it looks like price is holding support so far on the 30-minute. You got a nice bullish candle close, bottom wick rejection over here, and price is starting to come up from this area. But what is this area? Let's see. To the left. Okay, so you got a major support here on the 4 hour. Right, price keeps bouncing off that level. So does price have enough volume to push right through that area, or are we going to hold that support? So again, we're still holding that support. The wrong button.
Alright. So even in this case, you know how we were talking about the heavy seller's pressure? I'm going to annotate here real quick.
Yep.
So the heavy seller's pressure that we were talking about, starting off with like the 4 hour time frame, right, where price continued to push down, we had a nice gap up. It seems like this is the first some sort of a support that price is, trying to make right now. You look up on the hourly time frame here. So we've had a nice gap, and then price started to push down. It's giving you retracements, but nice impulsive moves as well. So here, what we need to see for any continued sells, let's say if there are sells, you would need a strong resistance to be formed. For any buy opportunities, what I want to see is at least a break and retest forming here, and then price continuing back up, breaking out of this very short-term bearish structure. When you come down to the 30-minute time frame here to the right, same exact thing where you had a gap, and then after that, this is pretty much Asian session going into London. and then you start to see some retracements. We're still in London session right now. We're about to get into New York session. Another nice impulsive move. Price is holding on to a support. But these following candles, they start to tell me, when there's wick rejections and we kind of fail to break the highs with good volume, that tells me that very soon we could probably see some exhaustive moves. So we could probably see price pulling back a little bit deeper, and then holding onto a support and then continuation up for any buys, or it just holds onto a resistance and we continue pushing down below this area and potentially look for a sell as the support here is being broken. That gets confirmed when you drop down to the 15-minute time frame. Can you zoom out for me a little bit on the 15, please?
Sure. How much?
Right there, that's good. And then zoom in on the candles.
On the candles?
Yeah, I just wanted to see the structure. There you go.
Okay.
So even here.
Got it.
Alright, perfect. So even here, you get the little gap, right? And then price just ends up holding on to a support, pushes back down, and you see how it's still holding on to this minor structure, right? Ends up holding onto a support here, and you have somewhat of a consolidation forming with some lack of volume in the market, right? We're still trying to give you some retracements here as price is pushing back up, but we keep holding on to the same resistance level. And finally now we're starting to see the candles pushing back down. So is this an hour before New York opens up? Can we check the sessions real quick?
Yeah. So this is, we got about 20 minutes left for New York to open here. Okay. So it looks like we're holding that resistance right here. Just going to zoom in here on the 15-minute. So we're holding that resistance right there as well. Like Sharma said, we might be coming down, breaking the lows over here, and continuing down into that previous support. But we got to wait for this candle to close and see how it closes.
Didn't mean to do that. I was trying to annotate. But what I would do is narrow in my support, like right below this area, right here as well, and right into this consolidation support. And then see if we have any potential trade opportunities as price breaks out of it. A potential setup that I want to see after a massive sell-off like that is definitely some form of break and retest. We haven't gotten that on the 4-hour time frame. We got that on the hourly. We're getting that on the 30-minute and the 15-minute. But I still want to see some break and retest forming here to give me confirmation if we can continue pushing.
Absolutely. Just zoom in here on a while. Yeah, really holding support there. You got that top wick rejection, but it closed with barely a bottom wick at a support. So there's obviously not enough range for us to trade anything from here to here. You got to wait for that close below here. Four-hour bouncing. This little resistance here on the 15-minute.
Do we also have any other news coming out this week?
Let's take a look. You know what? I guess that we don't have the data downloaded here. Let me, I'll pull it up over here on.
12th to the 17th, yeah.
June 12th to the 17th. GBP news came out.
So a lot of low impact. On the 14th, we have some PPI news coming out.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so that came out as expected. Wednesday, core retail sales come out before. Okay. So we got retail sales and FOMC on Wednesday.
Yeah, so maybe potential setups even setting up on Tuesday instead of a Monday. Monday is a lot of low impact news.
Right, so we just got a strong 30-minute candle close here after we're tracing all the way back down. So are we going to be able to get that close below this level? Four-hour candle just closed bullish with a wick to fill, but can the next candle create a top wick and pass below those candles, and then you get the close below in the lower time frames? You guys will not lose as many trades if you're just staying patient.
Absolutely. If anyone has any questions so far, feel free to ask.
I like this formation here, but again, you gotta wait for candles to close. Let's see how this candle closes. I actually want to bring this in a little bit more. Oh, close with no bottom wick. There you go. Wow, look at that. It's just taking off. That's why you wait for candles to close. See, it closed with no bottom wick over here, so no more momentum to continue down. Price normally ends up retracing hard from that area or holding a support.
Also, another thing to note when you're looking at price action and the details of it, notice how price never really breaks these previous highs. It's coming back and retesting into these areas, right? That's all it's doing at each of these points.
Good.
So when you start seeing something like that, that's your consolidation, right? That's your liquidity area. How do you know it's liquidity area? Look at the massive wick rejections and the way that price is fluctuating with a lot of volume.
So now that we closed below and now we're closing back inside, are we going to fill that wick? Or can we form some kind of a lower high since we're in that bearish trend? Or are we going to respect that resistance? Yeah, we're just ranging in here. Obviously a no trade range. Anybody got anything to add or questions? I guess we're breaking it down pretty well if there's no question.
This is potentially what you could end up seeing even next week when you're looking at the economic data. We don't have a lot coming out next week.
I think we could get that continuation on gold.
Yeah. Like, you legit don't have anything from the US coming out, like high impact or medium impact, until Wednesday, which is when interest rates come out. Monday is also like a bank holiday for the UK. So this is pretty much a good preparation from like a mental perspective to get you ready for any potential no trade days, right? So make sure you're not forcing trades here or anything like that. I know for a fact that majority of people would have gotten stuck at that break and retest entry at like down here or even this one right here, right? And then the next candle would have just taken you right back out.
Impulse entries are dangerous. They're hard. Not as much probability.
Yep.
Compensation when it comes to interest rates and then Asian session after. Yeah.
I would have to agree.
Damn, hope you feel better, buddy. Sound good?
Listen, those impulse entries are like stepping on a landmine. You hear me? You're gonna lose a limb.
I love Jay. That's awesome. You're right. You're right. They bite you in the ass, especially if you're trading gold or a pair like this. I mean, I don't have as much experience on this. I've looked at it in the past, I would say, year. Like, gone back and forth between looking at it. Never really traded it. But I've been recently taking a few trades on it, and it's worked out well. But, man, it moves fast.
I was watching it for a very long time. All of 2020 and even 2021, I was like, this thing's about to come down. I'm going to wait for that. So I was just watching the rally. Took like maybe one or two trades, but that's about it. But as soon as, this year we started talking about the pullbacks and we started talking about the interest rates and everything, and it really broke out of consolidation, I was like, all right, this is when I'm going to get back into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that was a great move because we were talking about all that stuff on the podcast or during breakdowns, stuff like that. Like, what exactly is happening with the economy, and you just played it.
Yep.
I'm looking at. I just want to pause it here real quick. You got multiple rejections of this area, and this candle, this 1 hour candle, just closed. Ended up flipping bearish, but a weak bearish, right? So that doesn't really matter too much right now. But we keep rejecting here on the 30-minute as well. This is a little fake out, so can we hold support right here and possibly fill that wick and continue up? But right now we're in a bearish trend. So like right now, looking at the 15-minute, you got a tall top wick on this 15-minute. This one, tall top wick and a small body. this one just opened up and is already creating that top wick. Is it flipping bearish? I just like these wicks. I don't know about you, Sharma, but these wicks coming here and rejecting that area, looking like we're going to continue down. But we got to get something below here at least. But I definitely think we can push through that level if we get below here.
What I want to see here is like a strong resistance, even as we're getting closer to the break of the zone, for example. As long as there's a strong resistance being held. So in this case, for example, the last 2 hourly candles have closed below this area, or even the last 3 hourly candles, right? If you want to count this bearish one here. And then after that, we've been closing below this. So that tells me that obviously we have enough volume to continue pushing down. And that's the reason why I'm even entertaining the bias of a sell here. But if this candle, let's say, flips back up bullish and ends up closing somewhere here, I know that's a complete consolidation, and that would be like a no trade day for me. So I'd be pretty much done trading today, if at all. But when we drop down to lower time frames, I do want to see resistance being held into any of these areas here. Hopefully that's the same level that marks off on across different time frames. But I want to see a strong resistance being held here, given how we've already gotten a break and retest. This is more like a liquidity grab. That's how I see it with all these wick rejections. And then the falling one pretty much coming into the same area, but we're getting lower and lower with very little volume.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see if we get anything going here, anything popping.
But I need a candle close, right? Without a candle close of a clear resistance, I'm not looking for an entry.
Yes. Yeah, now you see this 1 hour candle flipping as well, right? So that's giving you confidence. 30-minute candles giving you confidence, but it's also rejecting this area. So we got to see what we end up doing. 15-minute, created a top wick, passing the low of that candle. What are we at? What time is this? 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it's 10. High volume time. So I've seen this push through this area. I'm not going to be taking it, but I want to see it close below that area and maybe a top wick on the next candle to pass the low of that candle to potentially continue down. See how it's rejecting right now? It could very well continue back down, but that's why you got to wait for candles to close.
If this candle, this 30-minute candle here stuff, if it breaks the low right here, I'll take the entry.
Okay.
But that's pretty much the room that I'm going to give price. It really shouldn't be breaking the low if it's just going to come back into consolidation.
Yeah, it makes sense. Where would you have your stop loss above this candle?
I would drop to the 15 for that. So let's see how the 15 closes. If the current 15 closes bullish into this area, then I'm pretty much going to wait out for the next candle. And if that one sets up, for example, makes a top wick and then continues pushing down, I'll place the stop loss like right around this area up top.
I like it. Yeah, you got a lot of chatter going on. I love it.
Yeah. Let's see.
So, Sharm, here's a question for you.
Yes.
You just start looking at, let's say, for us noobs that are out there looking at US 30, would you say that it would be better to trade off of the 1 hour and understand, be able to, I guess you could say, perfect your vision and focus on what the market is doing, what it's telling you, before dropping down to the 30 and 15 minute?
I would start off with the monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, and the 1 hour, then kind of understand, what's happening in the market. I think that's much cleaner price action. The 1 hour sometimes can also get messy, so try to keep the focus on the 4 hour and the daily if you can. And then after that, once you start to understand how are those higher time frames kind of playing out, then start dropping down into the details of what are all these wick rejections and things like that.
Okay.
Good point. Sharma, are you gonna take something right here?
Yeah, I'll take a 1% sell. And then TP, are we able to look to the left?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
You got the wick on the 4 hour.
A little bit further back, maybe the daily. I just want to see, obviously we're clearing out this area here already. So I want to see if there's anything else. Okay, so my TP, I will keep that at, let's come down. Alright, we're below this area. So let's start off with a TP maybe down here first. Right into this wick rejection before a massive push up, yeah.
Okay. Right there. And then stop loss.
Stop loss, let's drop down to the 15 minute. Okay, so I'll keep the stop loss. This is the 50. Okay, perfect. I'll keep the stop loss, let's say right above the current 15 minute. So like right around here. Oh.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Yeah, that's perfect.
I never know when you guys are about to like catch your eye and
yeah.
I feel bad. I hate doing that.
No, it's all good.
Okay, so alright, so I think we're good here. I just need to give us the.
And I'll manage. I'll take like partials and stuff. You know, if the trade allows.
Risk too low or stop loss too far?
Okay, so it needs a tighter stop loss then?
I guess I'll just do it manually here.
Okay.
So we got 30,839. That's good. And we'll adjust your stop loss. Okay, why is that happening?
Okay, let's go up to like a 1.5% risk and see if that works.
Okay. Risk is set too low, stop loss is set too far.
Alright, let's drop down to a lower time frame then and see. You have the 1 minute, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's check that out. Okay, a massive sell-off, so how about a stop loss? Let's say right around here. Is that too wide still?
37. Risk is set too low or stop loss. So it'll.
Okay, right here.
We just did lots.
The current top wick. The current 15-minute top wick.
Oh, there we go. Okay, that worked. So I just did a lot size. Let me see if I switch back to. So you want 1%?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna close that last one. We're gonna go 1%. Let's see what we do.
Above the current 15-minute high.
Yeah, no, it's not giving it to us.
I think it's because US 30, it may not like the fact that their account is like $5,000 or something.
Yeah, like $1,000 account.
That's legit.
Yeah.
All I've traded on this.
Yes.
On my 500 though.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wacky.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Let's hop up to the 15-minute real quick.
That just worked though. If I hop up to the 15-minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right at the top of the current 15-minute, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, no, it's 30,000. 840. We'll call it.
How about half of that, like around here maybe?
Well, let me just try this real quick. Come on now. It's testing us. I'm not gonna let it beat us. Alright. It's not working right now.
No worries.
How did it work before? I did lot size. So if I did that penny lot right here, let me try visual mode.
I have a question.
Yes.
There you go.
Do the simulator does like the brokers, like when it's Sunday or when there are news, the spread is bigger?
Yeah, around news time. You know, when it's in the middle of the session, anything like that, the spread does tend to be wider.
In the simulation too?
Yeah, because the
Maybe that's the
simulation is the simulation is real data.
Oh,
Right.
so maybe that's why now it's not working, maybe, and some other time it
Yeah.
works with the same amount.
I literally just had to do a certain lot size. So let me see. Where was that area on the daily?
Hey,
Right here, right, Sean?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so that works.
All right. Perfect.
So it's just doing it by the lot size, so it's a 10-cent lot.
Okay.
Oh, well.
No worries. Thank you.
And then let me see if I can just do mine. I actually like your stop loss placement. So let me, and then I'll probably secure around 1 to 1 and just see the 15-minute. Yeah, okay. I'll put it somewhere around there. And I'll just be secure. Oh, not enough margin. Okay, so I placed 2 trades already anyway. One of them is just a really low lot size, so I'll just keep that one.
Okay.
I just don't want to keep wasting time. So let's play through this and let's see how we did. And then your take profit, I believe. Alright, getting that push. So we ended up breaking the low over here and we got the volume push towards the end of New York here. So again, like we called with these top wicks, we just kept projecting that area, creating lower highs as well. And then we finally passed the low of that candle. Like I said, anything below that area should be safe. But then we waited till price started breaking the low of these candles over here to take the sell.
So KB has a question in the chat.
Alright.
Let's see. Ideal stop loss would be above the wick of the 15-minute. Yes.
Yes.
That's ideally, yeah. So the reason why I also was, was okay with decreasing the stop loss is because when we dropped down to the 1 minute, like what I pretty much saw, the purpose of the 1 minute was also just to see, like, are we holding on to strong resistance levels here? It was pretty much the same exact thing that we're seeing across time frames here. I'm going to annotate here real quick, Steph.
Sure.
Is this resistance that's being held here, right? And then as we start to push down, you start to see a lot of volume in these following candles. Again, 1 minute time frame does not give you all the confirmation or even strong confirmations, but it will tell you where pretty much price is going. And so when I started to see that happen, it made sense that, if the following 15-minute candle even wants to come up and reject into this and continue pushing down, we still have enough range. So now as price is pushing down, let's say below these areas, and it continues its sell-off, I know that there's going to be some, point where price is going to hold on to a support, give us a nice retracement of this massive sell-off that just happened, and then continue pushing down. So at this point, I would even be comfortable maybe taking some partials and trailing my stop loss right above the zone.
Okay, how much would you like to take off?
Let's just do 50, yeah.
Okay.
And then just trail the stop loss. So I'm not moving it to break even or risk free just yet, but I'll trail it right above the zone here.
Where would you like it?
Right here.
Oh.
Alright, perfect.
So you got it there. So my TP was hit at 1 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait, look at the percentage increase. I think something was wrong with the setup of this.
I think it's the 5 cents. If you open up history real quick, I think it was the 5 cents that we closed out.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. That's normally what we've seen. Like, even on a 10-cent lot, like, I've seen a couple of $1,000 profits.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So this is normal for US 30.
Yeah, I'm not used to that. That's awesome. 82%?
Yep.
All right, that's it. I'm gonna be the noob. I'm jumping. The US 30, here I come. That's crazy. That is crazy.
That's legit how I've grown that account that I started in February. That's legit how I've grown the account. Majority of the trades were US 30. I had some GJ trades, I had some gold trades, but if you go back, some of you guys who are like in the group, if you go back, I made an entire video breaking down, the trades that I've taken. And I've also, if you just do the search on Discord, for example, for like any US 30 updates and milestone updates, like I've sent those out. It's all been US 30 trades.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
been
phenomenal.
about a year, right?
Yeah, like I think it's been like since February, end of February, that's when I started the account. Until now.
That's awesome.
We can skip on the next 15 minutes to see if, we break the highs or we break the lows, or, what pretty much happens here.
So back up to entry and flip bearish here.
So as we continue to push down here, what pretty much according to these candles, the way that I interpret this is price, the way it broke the high, it's pushing back down, closed, barely breaking the previous low, and then the next candle gave us a top wick to push down. I do expect price to hold on to a support and then continue some retracements or maybe even a consolidation prior to continuing back down. So with that being said, if we can continue breaking our own lows, let's say it's continuing to push down, so I do want to take some partials very soon.
Okay, just let me know.
So as you were looking at this, what gave you the confidence, or what would give someone the confidence to say, hey, listen, stay with this trade. It's not reversing against you. It's not coming against you.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait.
It's just the more you see it. It's with any setup,
Right here, Steph.
Okay.
Alright, to come to your question, I'll close out 3 cents here and I'll leave 2 running.
Okay. Good.
And then what I'm also going to do is trail my stop loss right at this level. Okay. To answer your question, Jamie, pretty much what I see happening, what Steph said, you're going to see the same exact thing across, different pairs, whatever you're trading, it's going to be the same exact thing. It's the same thing that I would have done on gold, GJ, anything else. It's that we're seeing that structure that's still pushing down, right? And then we ended up seeing some consolidation here. Again, this is a Monday in New York session. As we looked at Forex Factory right now, there wasn't a lot coming out. So all of this would have been a technical move, right? So here, as price comes back into this...
Who are you just drawing?
I was, yeah, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. But price pretty much holding onto a strong resistance into this area. It's consolidating, right? And as we get closer into this support zone, getting that nice break and retest, right? Even if price made a top wick, the fact that we've already grabbed that liquidity to continue pushing down. To test that liquidity, what I wanted to see was price breaking these lows here. And then as it started to do that, that's where, the entry was taken. Now, when you look at the 15-minute, so that's the 30-minute, right? When you look at the 15-minute and the low here is being broken, look at the following candles, where this one started with no top wick, right, and continued pushing down. So that tells me that in this time frame between these 2 candles, we didn't even test going bullish, right? The following candle is really the one that came up to that break-even point, retested that, and then continued pushing down. I want to get at least 1-to-1 before I move to break even or be completely risk-free on the trade, but I still took some partials at this. And then as price, continue to push down, test the lows, that's when we eventually moved to trail our stop loss. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So as you were breaking it down, I looked at this candle, and being new, looking at US 30, that would have been the candle that would spook me. And it's still something that I know a lot of new traders are still working on, including myself, is when you see a candle like this, and you start to see it pulling back this high or this deep, you start to question your trade. So,
Yep.
One of the things you guys have always said is like, listen, when you've done your analysis and you understand what price is doing, leave it alone. That's just a retracement. It's a liquidity grab. It's not coming back, especially the fact that it never came up here. Yeah, it tapped back into this area, which was previous support, but look what it did. It reached up, pulled back down. Liquidity grab.
Yep.
Mhm.
And to even kind of prove that point, I guess, if you want to drop down to the hour or the minute time frame real quick stuff.
Yes.
So that's the 15 that we're looking at, right? When you look at the 1 minute time frame, it's really all that structure that we were just talking about, right? Before even taking the trade, that there has to be some sort of a retracement. And that's what price ended up doing. It was retracing this massive sell-off that started from this consolidation area, right? Held onto a support, a nice retracement. It's continuing to push down. We do some retracements here, and then we're starting to break out of this. Now that price is kind of holding onto a support. Regardless of the time frame, you're going to see the same exact setup. You're going to understand the market the same exact way. It's just that these lower time frames are going to work together to make up the higher time frames.
And Jamie, you see this perfect like retest right here?
Yeah.
How the 1 minute just came right up into that area and just tanked?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good telltale sign for you.
It's beautiful structure, and for everybody that's listening, essentially every time price makes a high, it has to make a low. Every time it makes a low, it has to make a high. It doesn't just keep going up and going down. It has to come back and retest, create support, continue on higher. Or it has to go down, come up, create resistance, go down lower.
One thing that I always tell everybody is like, think about it like if you're running, right? When you're running, are you going to continue running forever? Or is there a point where, like, let's say after the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you're like, okay, I need to like walk, or I need to, jog, or, I need to slow down my pace, grab my breath, and then continue running, right? That's, if you really put it in those simple terms, it's a lot easier to understand that the market's not going to continue tanking all the time. If it was that easy, people would be taking sells all the time and making a ton of money, right? The market has to retrace, it has to correct the moves, and then continue in its direction.
Yep. Gonna fast forward a little bit here. We're getting to the end of New York. I believe this is 11 a.m. 8, 9, 10. Yep, 11 a.m.
Alright, so I'll close out the entire trade here, Steph, as this 15 minutes breaking the previous highs, and the 30 minutes flipping back up bullish, and the hourly.
Okay, I guess I closed a little bit late.
No, it's all good. This is fine. Anywhere you
Okay.
go. Realistically, you wouldn't be closing at the price that you exactly want either.
Yeah, true. Very true.
And then if I want to look for any continued sells, pretty much you would be done around this time anyways. But if I want to look for continued sells, I would want to wait for that retracement that we just saw in the 1 minute time frame. I want to see that on the 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour.
Looks like we're coming back up to that resistance.
Yep.
So can you respect it? $15 really coming up here. That's a strong close. Weak bearish candle, but we created that low. So can we continue down from that?
Is there anyone who trades Asian session here?
No.
Okay. If not, we can, whenever we're done with New York, this New York, we can skip to the next day because I don't think anyone else trades here.
Okay. Put that. There's not the line right there on the wick. Look how much that 4 hour just retraced.
Yep. So I'm pretty sure that's a very key level on the daily or on the weekly time frame.
Yes. Just clone that over. Alright, let's fast forward over here. See what we ended up getting for the next New York session. This is Asian. Wacky price action on the 30 and 15 minute. Heading into 6 a.m. This is London. Alright, 6 a.m. So looking over here, you ended up holding a nice resistance here at the... We'll just adjust that right there. That ended up holding that nice resistance, respecting the previous one over here, closing a strong bearish candle. Next one created a top wick, past the low, and now are we continuing down to retest these lows over here? That was that wick we ended up filling, and then creating a new low right down here. So can we continue into that area as well? Again, they're really just pricing in interest rate hikes right now, and that's why you see the US 30 basically just tanking here.
Today's also the PPI that comes out, right?
This is Tuesday. Where is... Tuesday is PPI.
Okay,
Yep, 8:30.
perfect.
So it's a 6 a.m. pre-New York. Again, hourly over here, holding that resistance. Clone that. Delete this. Price is just continuing down from here. It's a nice price action too. As you just rejected that area, created a low, retested this area right here, and then pushed all the way down. But we're now coming into a 30-minute support right here to the left. And you really draw that somewhere like this. I'd say you might have safer sells below that area.
I would actually take another sell if we can break below. My zone would be a little bit higher, just like
somewhere
right
here,
into,
right?
like into. I'm gonna annotate here. So like somewhere here, and then coming right back up into this level. I believe that's what that would be. And yeah. So if price can continue breaking below that, just based off the hourly, at least clean traffic coming down to fill the wick, if that's like a quick scalp right into this area.
Okay. So you want to take it now or?
No, after price breaks the low here, or the zone here.
You want to take something?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will place. Perfect.
Right there?
A little bit higher. Would that work? Yeah, and then TP I guess will come down and no, like right at that line that you have, so this line, and then take some partials halfway through, like somewhere here.
Okay. Perfect. I think I'm going to stay at this one. I want to wait for a candle close below this area because I know US 30 likes to play around, so let's just see what we get here. It's just a quick pair.
It is.
Anybody else want to take anything? Some in the chat here. Visitor has to go.
And then as soon as price taps into that previous little support right here, I'll take some partials.
Sure.
Right here.
Right now?
Yeah.
Got it.
50.
How much?
Let's do 60% because we're coming up to the actual New York Open, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll close out 0.06. And then at this point, I'm going to move to break even as well. And the reason why I'm moving to break even is, again, we're coming up to the market open. And then after that, it's legit just market sentiment. Because I think 30 minutes after that is the news coming out, right? So it's the market sentiment.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's going to be the sentiment leading up to the news release. So here, either you close out your entire trade, or like here, the reason why I moved to break even is because, you know, is the price going to continue pushing down? So there's going to be some fluctuations here.
That's 150%.
Alright, we got 2 minutes before this 30-minute close and the 15 close.
Yes. It's a nice 30-minute candle close.
Mm-hmm.
This one tried passing the low right away, and you just got that rejection.
Alright, there we go.
Typically, what happens? This 15-minute candle close with no bottom wick, and you get the weaker one close. This one barely passed the low, and now we're retracing back up to this area.
Yep.
So can we hold some kind of a resistance there and continue down, or what are we gonna do? But now I'm looking at this support right here. So now you got safer sells below this area.
100%.
And there you got the that same level is the 4-hour support that we actually just retested.
So here, you know, for those of you guys who are still wondering, like, you know, when it comes down to the volume and stuff, how do you kind of figure that out? Look at the 4-hour time frame here, where you have somewhat of this consolidation, right? So if price can continue breaking below that, you know that you're going to have some good volume. It's a higher time frame, a lot of consolidation. That pretty much checks off when you come onto the hourly time frame as well. So what we want to see here essentially is some sort of retracements and then continuation down. I would at least want to see a break and retest here. That means that, you know, quite similar to the last trade that we took, where price was tapping into the previous consolidation areas to grab liquidity and then continue pushing down and all of that. That's what we essentially need to see on the 15-minute or the 30-minute. I'm very impressed that, you know, in the simulation session, legit just picked like a date. That's all we did. But we're seeing the same setups over and over again. 2 days in a row.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of market environment with increasing rates.
Yeah, the equity percentage increases on US 30 is crazy. Like, people think gold is crazy.
Yeah, this is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Now I just want to backtest it all weekend.
Dude, I think backtesting this thing all weekend will give me agita.
Yeah, it's fast, man.
Alright, seems like we're holding on to some sort of a resistance here. Let's see.
A little bit. So can we get the clean close below?
I'm personally waiting for the news release whenever that comes out. And then after that, it's going to be the New York Stock Exchange open, because that's when really the good volume kicks in.
Yes. See, if this is the 30-minute, I think I would maybe take advantage of this to fill that wick and come down, just because there's so much liquidity in this pair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe I would have my stop loss in a safe spot up here, and see that's why it doesn't work on the 15-minute. But if you got that on the 30-minute, I think you'd be able to hold that resistance and fill that wick. Let's roll this in a little bit. Coming up to 7:30. Finds that 30 candle close.
So this is an hour before the news is about to come out, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so in that case, I probably wouldn't touch it. But I'm like live back testing this over here on US 30. Strong or not strong, but weak bearish candle close with a wick to fill. If this candle respects the low, as it's flipping bearish, you take that sell stop loss here or here to fill that wick down here. See how that plays out. But and that's exactly how you guys want to look at like a new pair. You just want to be able to live back test a lot of these setups and then engrave them in your mind for then when you eventually get confident enough to take them in the live market. So we got that wick fill. I'd be securing a little piece right here. Only meant to be a quick scalp. And then you're just playing that bearish volume, injecting this area, 30,840. Create this low, come right back up, retest just like we did over here, doing right here.
That's a nice strong resistance on the 4 hour too.
Oh yeah. It's double tap too.
Alright, we're 40 minutes out before news.
Those 1 hour candles are getting like weaker over here with like longer wicks, and we keep rejecting this area. So I'm wondering if we're gonna get some kind of a bounce off of here.
That's what I'm expecting here as well, just looking at those candles.
And also like looking over here, how we keep rejecting this area, and every time we do, it's, besides the last time, we got a strong move up.
Yep.
Right, so we hold the support right here, we continue back up.
So what I would want to see here is some sort of a corrective move of this entire sell-off that happened. You know, maybe even this is really the last resistance that we've had, right? And then pullbacks maybe into these areas, and then a continuation down. That would give me the confirmation that we can continue running for a longer time, instead of just exhausting out maybe at the wick fill here.
Yeah, pulled off. So I figure we'll just adjust this a little bit right there. That's your resistance.
I have about 7 more minutes left before I have to hop into another meeting.
Sure.
But yeah, let's see how the market pretty much plays out.
Okay. Hopefully this gave you guys a good idea of, you know, what to expect on US 30 coming this week.
Yep.
You got anybody on YouTube?
We have 4 people on there right now.
Nice. And any questions?
Oh, nothing yet.
Okay.
I just opened up like my MetaTrader, and the market legit closed like a point below my trail stop loss for my scaling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think that's gonna.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's gonna take me out right when the market opens up.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That gap? Imagine
Yeah.
if it just gaps the opposite, the direction you're in.
Mhm.
Be awesome.
I took majority of the partials though before
okay.
the market closed today.
Yeah, that's smart. I hate holding trades over the weekend.
I only do that if it makes sense. Like if you know, I have enough profits where it'll cover the commission and the swap fees. Like my
Yeah.
broker, he only charges me, or she, whatever. The broker only charges me swap fees per week. It doesn't do like per day for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a business decision at that point. It's like, all right, did I make enough from this trade to where, you know, the profits will cover it?
Right. Right.
Hold on, let me just close this door.
Alright, I've got about 4 minutes left, so is there any questions that anybody has, even on YouTube or here, about any of the trades that we've taken?
Not from me.
Alright.
Alright. So, how did the news just come out? Oh, that was just the previous. So we actually ended up getting it over here. Oh, 0 point. Okay, so it basically hit the same mark that they were expecting.
Okay.
Exceeded expectations, and that was expected anyway. For us knowing what was going on in June and the beginning of summer, that's
Mm-hmm.
when inflation really started to pick up, and you started seeing producers really picking up the costs of a lot of. Actually, we've been seeing that for what, like a year now.
Yeah.
Actually, a little bit more than that, of like them just covering a lot more of the costs than they were passing on to us.
Yeah. It was getting trickled down to the consumers, but at very small numbers than
Yes.
the cost that they were enduring. But
Yeah.
I think the next important news, it's a yellow folder, but it's economic optimism. At least for right now, that's what we've seen for the past 2 years, that it's been, the market has been reacting a lot to any economic optimism or or consumer sentiment news or anything like that. Alright, I think I'm going to hop off now. But are there any other questions before we're done here, guys?
Change 130% in 2 days.
Yeah. So, we could open up
It's alright.
the history too.
That's alright.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've had one closed by stop loss, which was at the break even. Everything else was either closed partially or by TP. But yeah, that's pretty much how US 30 moves. So if you guys are trading US 30 going into next week, this is what you could essentially expect, even on some of these smaller lot sizes. But make sure you guys are back testing this weekend, preparing for next week. And as always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Stefanos. Best way to kind of get in contact with me would be Instagram at SharmaFX, and then for Stefanos is StefanosFX.
Yep. Guys, have a great weekend, alright? Make sure you're back testing and getting ready for the week, like Sharma said. I'm looking forward to trading with you guys next week.